Hello!
You there, and welcome to another episode of A Spoonful of Theatre, Singapore's only theatre podcast.
I'm TJ, theatre practitioner, director and performer.
And I'm Sam, a teacher of language, literature and self-proclaimed show business lovey.
This is our podcast where we spill the tea on all things Singapore theatre.
It's tea time, and today's episode is titled ASOT Turns 1.
Because it's our 1 year anniversary.
Yay! For the past 525,600 minutes, TJ and I have discussed nothing but all the happenings on and off the stage in Singapore Theatreland.
So today we look back over our favourite memories from our first year of podding. But for now, pop the kettle on,
Grab a bicky.
and let's add a spoonful of theatre to sweeten up your day. Oh, we're back!
We're back, yay!
Oh, I've missed this podcast studio.
Oh, I have. It's been far too long, hasn't it,
It
darling?
has. I think we must start by an apology to our dear listeners who probably missed our voices.
Of
Maybe.
course you have.
Of course you have.
Of course you have.
Yes, we've been very busy over summer, having a life and just taking, honestly, a much needed break.
Yes.
But we have loved the last year, and it is our 1 year anniversary, everybody. Can you believe that, Sam?
I can't believe that it's been 1 year. It has gone so blooming quick.
It has.
And the amount that we've done in that time, it's astounding that we've done all that in the past 12 months.
I have loved putting this episode together because for us, looking back over the last year of all the things that we've achieved, from a little idea of, shall we do a little podcast, to interviewing some amazing people, getting to watch and review some of the best of Singapore and overseas theatre. Like, it's just wonderful. And we get to do this as a little hobby, and all of you seem to like coming along for the ride, which is fantastic.
Yes, we'll probably get into that a little bit later on. Like, where did we start with
Exactly.
this? Because I do enjoy telling that story. But yeah, it's been wonderful, and what we've seen, who we've spoken to, who we've met, who's contacted us. It's been lovely to really put this together and to start something that sings to our passions, dear.
Absolutely. And, for me, now I'm not necessarily in the throes of theatre like I used to be, to still kind of, get to mingle with all of the amazing creatives that I know we have here. And just kind of share our thoughts and opinions and celebrate what we get to watch in Singapore.
It has been a celebration. Yeah. From the word go, it has been a celebration of all things Singapore theatre, and really recognising and speaking to those people where they have so much passion in what they do. They really do. And yeah, it's been wonderful. But what did you get up to over the summer, darling?
Oh, well, I, of course, went on holiday, which was really lovely. I went on a cruise. That was very nice.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I'm the one mentioning cruise this time. Ring the cruise ship bell. No, I had a fantastic time on my cruise all around the Med. I got to cruise. Bianca Del Rio was on my cruise. That was fun. Rob Houchen, a West End singer, phenomenal, was amazing on my cruise ship. That was really lovely.
What's he been in?
Les Mis. He's been on all the big Westies. All the big Westies. Really fantastic. And then, got to spend a bit of time in the UK. Oh, I watched some Shakespeare. I watched a Shakespeare in the Garden. I watched Midsummer Night's Dream in Cambridge at the Cambridge Shakespeare Festival.
Oh, splendid.
Yes, no, that was lovely. I enjoyed that.
Did it rain?
It didn't.
Oh, good.
It did get a bit cold at night, though. I do forget how cold it gets in the UK. So yeah, I had a fantastic time, and then just back into the swing of things now, as always. What about you, Sammy?
Well, my holiday was a lot shorter than yours.
I'm
lot
sorry.
shorter. No, did get the chance to go home for 3 weeks, and me and my partner, we went up to Scotland. Had a wonderful time looking for Nessie. Went up to
Did you
Loch
find
Ness.
her?
No, we didn't. But we did go on the Harry Potter train, which was a lot of fun. But of course, good old Scottish weather got in the way. And then we popped down back to London, and I had the chance to see a musical that I have been wanting to see for about 25 years, and I've never had the chance to see just because it just wasn't on when I had the opportunity. Oliver.
Oh.
And it is one of my all-time favourite movie musicals. I remember growing up with that show, and finally it was my chance to see it on stage, and it was phenomenal. The production quality was absolutely brilliant. And I forget his name, but the chap that played Fagin was just brilliant. He really brought it to a sort of 21st century sort of spin to it.
Right.
No, it was really good. And then, well, I got back at the beginning of July, and I've worked every day since. So ladies and gentlemen, if I sound a bit incoherent sometimes, it's because I'm a teacher that has been teaching constantly for 3 months. And I'm really ready for my holiday, which is only 2 weeks away.
So podcasts in a few weeks' time might sound very different, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, actually, speaking of London, one of my favourites in London I watched was a musical called Titanic.
Oh, yes, you told me, yes.
I bloody loved it. And I must say, I wasn't that keen because it's been on for a little while and I kind of ignored it. You know, some shows you're like, oh, I don't really want to watch that. And then somebody on my crew said, oh, no, you will love it. It's really up your street. It was the campest thing ever and just an amazing... You know, some shows, it's not necessarily about the story. It's just a blooming fun night out at the theatre. And it was a fun little story, but it was just entertainment. And I loved it. So if you're in London, go catch Titanic.
That's
really
twice
amazing.
That's happened to you now, that we've put a musical sort of on the low priority. And then, you've gone and seen it. And then it's just completely blown away your expectations.
Maybe my expectations are just wrong. Maybe my instincts of what show to watch are wrong, but never mind. We'll see. And then I'm now also helping out on Kimberly Akimbo.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, in Singapore. So I'm loving that. It's an amazing cast. So, you know, Singapore theatre of Pandemonium's musicals always pull it out of the bag. It's going to be coming up soon.
This is one I'm not familiar with, so and I love it when I'm going to see something that I know nothing about.
And I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about it either. It won the Tony Award a few years ago, but it's one of those, again, it goes over your radar, and I've just fallen in love with the show. It's such a beautiful little musical. We'll talk about that a bit more later, though, but yeah, I'm really enjoying working with that. That's really nice. And both of us saw something over the last few months that it's kind of the opposite to all those good things, and I think let's jump right in because I mean you're all here for the tea. I know you all are, and that's why we're a spoonful of theatre. And a spoonful of tea, I'm going to just ask Sam to tell us what his initial thoughts to one of his favourite stories of all time being presented on the stage was like. So Sam.
Oh, right. Just to preface this. So, unfortunately, TJ and I couldn't get the chance to see it together. So, I was going to skip it.
I wanted to skip it. I wish I did.
I was going to skip it because I remember when it came out in London, God knows how many years ago now, and the reviews were awful. And I was going to skip it, but my partner really wanted to go see it. So, okay, went and see it. And now I am a massive Lord of the Rings fan. It's just one of my passions. The Hobbit is my favourite book. And I knew I would have to. I had you in the back of my head. I had temper your expectations, Sam. Like this is theatre, darling. You know, you can't put a 3-volume book and expect the same thing like we did with Peter Jackson's movies. But it was awful. It was just terrible. I have never ever wanted to walk out of a show before, and I did. I wanted to walk out of it. I just could not connect with it at all. And that's nothing against the actors. Some of the performances were actually very good. The costumes were awful. But I just could not connect with it. I really couldn't.
And you're a fan. I'm not even a fan of the original source material, and I hated it. I honestly, I really wanted to leave, but I stuck it out in the name of research. I thought, maybe Act 2 will get better. And what was it? Was it 3 hours 45 or something? It was a ridiculously long time. Anyways, whatever amount of time, I'm never going to get that time back. And yeah, it was. But I agree with you, actually. It was more about the storytelling and the writing and the songs. Oh, I'm sorry. And the terrible songs. It was just a bad script. It was a bad story, how they put it together. And then the director just threw every single theatrical convention known to man at it and hoped it would work. There was puppetry, there was narration, there were dancing in the audience every 2 minutes, and I was just like, get out of the audience. More lighting effects and displays than I've ever seen on any show, but they just didn't work. It was like somebody just went, let's do a bit of everything, and nothing kind of cohesively came together.
I have never, in the near 20 years that I've been watching theatre, I have never wanted to walk out of a show and until I saw Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Well, I think, you know what, let's leave our rant there, because I think both of us, we could rant a bit longer. And I do wish we'd have given you an episode, ladies and gentlemen, but the just timings didn't work out. But I'm sure you can guess what our spoonfuls would have been.
Oh, a 0.5, a half spoonful. No, we agreed at the beginning we wouldn't do halves.
Yes.
No, it would have been a one.
It would have been a one, absolutely.
But on the flip side...
Oh, yes.
On the flip side, you went and saw something that you have not stopped talking about since. Tell us about it.
Oh, I finally, after all these years, just got to watch Hotel by Wild Rice. Now, this is it's kind of become a bit of a staple show in Singapore. It's come back, I think this is the third or fourth time. I think it's fourth. Then it's come back. And it's a bit of an epic because you have to go to the theatre twice. It's a bit like Harry Potter Part 1 and Part 2. But I loved it. Actually, it's kind of like it's like binge watching a Netflix series, because each mini story is about 20-25 minutes. So you're in the theatre for about 5.5 hours, something like that. But every 20-25 minutes, there's a new story. And the actors come in with a new story. And basically, it's set in this hotel room, loosely based on Raffles Hotel sort of thing, but it's never quite stated. And the characters all the way from back into kind of like First World War through to current times, how the different characters kind of approach and what they're doing and saying and things happening in this hotel room. And it's just taking you through Singapore history in such a beautiful way. It's not preachy. It's really just celebrating Singapore stories and Singapore history as it was in such a phenomenally entertaining and showcasing the best of Singapore acting as well. So I absolutely loved it, and I'm gutted because honestly, we were just a bit bad at getting tickets, and it meant that you couldn't go. No, I'm gutted you didn't, because I think you would have loved it.
But I mean, well done for Wild Rice, because it sold out.
It did.
So my pain is their gain, really, because it sold out, and I'm really happy for them that it did. And they have said it's the last showing for ever, or at least a long
time. I think it's an epic to put on. Honestly, the amount of scene changes, set changes, costumes, and they speak different languages all the time. And the amount of the specific actors that you need to be able to speak Japanese and Mandarin and Malay and Cantonese and all of these different languages coming through. It's very specific casting, so I understand.
Now then, love, let's get to the reason why we're here. We're a year old.
We are a year old. Well, it's been a long time since we've both been a year old, but the podcast is a year old.
Cheek. Yes, ASOT, A Spoonful of Theatre, is a year old. Do you remember when we had this idea?
I do. We were on a walk, weren't
we? We were on a walk, yes. It was February last year, so February 2024. And I was in a terrible place because I was still applying to international schools, and bless you, the best friend that you are, you're like, come on, we're going for a walk, clear your head. And then we did. We went to do the Green Corridor, and we ended up walking around McCritchie as well. It was
on
20 kilometres. Anyway, we got to one bit, and at that time, I, for the past few years now, I have become an avid reader, and I was reading Patrick Stewart's memoir, which is still one of the best books I've ever read in my life. And I got to the bit where he was talking about all the theorists and like method acting and all that chap. Who are the theorists? I can't remember. Stanislavski, that's it. And then we were having a good old chat about it, weren't we? And then, I don't know if it was you or me, but we said, won't this sound good on a podcast? And then you, being the idea man that you are, and once you have an idea, you won't let it go. That was it. You were on it. you were exploring it. And that's when we approached our dear wonderful hosts, Zirup.
Yes, who have been absolutely amazing. And honestly, we couldn't have done this without Zirup Media. So we've got this beautiful podcast and all this equipment here that makes us sound beautiful and silky and smooth. So yeah, they've really supported us in our journey of becoming Singapore's Singapore's only current theatre podcast. There have been others in the past we've discovered over the last year, but we are the only current one. And we are loving bringing you Singapore theatre in a podcast format. And apparently you were loving it too. Couldn't have dreamt that on that walk that we would have gone from a simple idea to just over a year later having this amazing platform and having all of these experiences that not only are enriching our listeners, but I think we've both grown as theatre people, as practitioners, and more curious.
Yes,
and
definitely.
I've certainly learned a lot about how to edit a podcast over the last year, I must say.
I must admit, you do deserve all the credit. Unfortunately, I hold my hands up to this. Unfortunately, because of the pressures of my job, I don't have the opportunity to contribute as much as TJ does. Bless him. He does do all the editing, and there can be a lot of bloopers between us, as you may have heard with the end credit scene that TJ's put in every now and again. But you do deserve all the snaps and kudos for all that. I would not know what to do. You keep threatening to train me, but unfortunately my job won't allow you to. But no, bless you for doing all that. Every single episode has been edited by you. And that's 25 episodes that have kept you up at night. Bless you.
Some of them have been easier than others to edit, let me just say that. No, but I love it. And I think it does make it worthwhile when you get lovely comments from listeners saying that, they're tuning in and they're listening and they're enjoying it and they're learning things. That's why we're doing it. But, we are also doing it I think also quite selfishly, we're just enjoying going to theatre and interviewing people as well. So we're just grateful that you are here along the way. And if you remember at the very beginning, we did say it's probably just going to be our mothers listening. So to have this many of you listening is very lovely for us.
No, we're super grateful for that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening in.
Do you remember, Reese? I remember when we were thinking about names for the podcast and things, we went through all sorts of things. But then I think we actually quite quickly did land on A Spoonful of Theatre.
Yes.
Both of us are massive fans of Mary Poppins.
Yes.
I actually directed A Spoonful of Sherman a few years ago. And it was just a really fun play on that as well. So that's where that came from.
It said us. It's us to a T. We're both tea drinkers. No pun intended. We're both tea drinkers and both Sherman fans. And once we had the four. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That says TJ and Sam. Yes.
And then, do you remember the photo shoot?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, where had we gone the night before? No, don't reveal that. Yes, we'd had a little libation the night before. And it was one of those, we didn't just go out, we went out. And
which was probably, in hindsight, not the wisest thing to do before you're supposed to look fresh for a photo shoot that's going to be on every episode for the next few months and years.
And it was at silly o'clock, wasn't it, like at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning or something?
It was, but I must, while we're at this point, have to give a shout out to our amazing photographer, Yu King, who very graciously supported the podcast and helped us do that photo shoot. So really want to give a big thank out to all of the people that's helped us along the way. But Yu King did an amazing job with that. So thank you so much.
Yes, love it.
But yes, it was very funny. When you look at that photo again, ladies and gentlemen, we are not feeling as fresh as that photo might make it look.
No.
Maybe Yu King did do some editing to the photo. So thank you, Yu King.
Oh, blimey.
So, shall we get back to some more reminiscing?
Yes.
Shall we start with some facts? We love some statistics. Some data. From all of you. So, Sam, I'll let you start.
Right. So we have our two episodes. We have our long form interview episode, and then we have our review episodes that we do when we go and watch something. And I must say that format seems to have done so well. We're straight out of the foyer, we're giving our first thoughts, and again, audience, you seem to have loved that. So here are the ones that you've enjoyed the most. The long form interview was our dear friend Angelo.
Yes.
Everybody loved listening to him. But not only that, our biggest review was our first review, Dear Evan Hansen, and I think it's because there was such anticipation, there was such expectation, there was this musical has such a huge following, and as you and I both know from open mic, it's got such a huge following. There was so much excitement around it that as soon as we started putting it out there, and again, bless you, you edited it and got it out there as soon as possible, it blew up.
It did. That's our most viral interviews from Dear Evan Hansen. And it's coming back to Singapore, isn't it? So we've been asked about this, and we are going to go and give you our review of Dear Evan Hansen over at Marina Bay Sands, the international tour. Now, actually, after me learning about all this podcasting malarkey, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, actually, the internet saves a lot of data.
It does.
I've learned a lot about what you can find out about things. So when you click on our podcast, we know what country and what town you've been listening in, what time you've been listening in, what device type you've been listening in. Oh, the internet saves everything. And I've got some really fun facts for you, because we have some listeners. We are global, ladies and gentlemen. We are absolutely global. We have listeners in Tokyo. We have listeners in Poznan, Poland, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Zagreb in Croatia, Saudi Arabia, Bucharest in Romania, and quite a lot of listens in Barnsley, and also
the Medway towns in Kent.
Yes. And that would be our mothers and families listening. But of course, we do get listeners from around the world.
Yes.
So thank you to everybody who is tuning in globally, wanting to listen to our ranting and raving and all of our amazing guests that we've had over the last year.
I did not expect that. I really did not. I thought it would be UK because of family, and then just Singapore. Yeah. But for us to go around the world, that there's people interested in Singapore theatre all the way in Poznan, Poland. Okay, hello, Poznan, Poland.
Yes.
Drop us a like, drop us a comment. We'd love to know who you are. Absolutely.
And, obviously we have a lot of listeners from around the region as well. We've got Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines. Lots of listeners from around the region as well. So thank you to everybody from tuning in. And maybe it's also some people on holiday as well. But thank you for listening in wherever you listen. Now, this is the fun one. Yes. We think. So, Sammy, why don't you tell us, out of all of our podcasts and all of our reviews that we've done, which show got the most spoonfuls?
There's two.
Oh,
there's two. And if we were to put it in Singapore, and then also we did our tour in the West End. So let's go with the important one, the Singapore one. To receive our first 10 out of 10, first and only 10 out of 10 in Singapore. And what I mean 10 out of 10 is 5 spoonfuls from TJ and I, was Supervision.
Very, very well deserved.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So good. The story, just the shock of it. I think I remember saying in the review, like, it was shock but also not surprised. That's what I seem to remember from it. And then from our West End tour that we did in December, where I'm still trying to recover my breath from, it was do you remember that? God, I remember listening back to it. I was like, I sound like bloody Darth Vader. Anyway, from our West End tour, it was Tina.
Oh, Tina. That was just, honestly, probably one of my most memorable musicals of all time. And like you said earlier, it was one of the shows that I didn't ever really want to go see. Well, not didn't want to go see, it just would never sparking my interest. And we just had the best time in the theatre. It was so good. So that got our first ever 10 out of 10 ever.
Yes.
And then Supervision as well. So those are the two shows this year that got our top marks, top score, top grades. We're in PSLE time now. So grades are all over the Singapore Island right now.
Yes. What about our lowest, though?
Oh. This was, the only show that either of us gave a 1 spoonful. And it was me. Yes, I gave the 1 spoonful. And that was for Why Am I So Single, the musical in the West End, which was the follow-up to Six, the musical. I hated every second of that show. I thought it was terrible. Please go back and listen to the review. It's me ranting a lot. And usually, dear listeners, if you've listened to some of our reviews, we do try, because obviously me being from the theatre, I try and say things as I would say to people's face, because I think it's really important, because, kindness costs nothing. And even if we don't like something, I think we are in a society where we should be able to disagree agreeably. I think we've lost that in many areas of society. But when we're reviewing shows, both of us try and be as honest and candid as we can, but in a way that, as teachers, we would give feedback, or we would give our opinions, not just rant and rave. But why am I so single? Brought out my ranty side, I must say. I'm not ashamed of it, because I would still rant about it now. And also, I suppose, if we were going to also give our Singapore's, we didn't actually give that one a review, but I'm sure Lord of the Rings would have also joined the...
Oh, without a doubt.
The ones.
Oh, without a doubt.
But we do, don't we, Sam? We try and be as fair as we can.
Yes, I mean, our whole premise of doing this has not been to bring down or tear down Singapore theatre. Far from it. Yeah. It's to build it up, to celebrate, to come along with Singapore theatre on this journey to make it the wonderful creative space that it is, and to push, keep creating, keep taking risks, even if they don't work all the time. Like, I think back to A Doll's House Part 2. That was one of my least favourite, but I'm not going to say, oh, don't ever do theatre ever again. Not at all. It's okay, well, I'll wait until the next one, and I'm sure that'll be great. Yeah. I mean, it's a subjective industry.
Honestly, not everything's going to be a hit.
Yes.
So it is going to be one of those things. And we've had shows where you've given a higher rating than I have, and vice versa. And that's the beauty. What we try to do is reflect what our audiences are feeling. And that's why, I think this contrast of me being... That's been my job for so many years of being in the theatre industry, and you being a very avid fan and coming at it from those two perspectives, we do actually give that nice balanced perspective. And throughout it as well, we, as much as we are, we do have our connections and our friends in the industry, we're not afraid of... we're not just because we're really close with a theatre company doesn't mean you automatically get a 5 out of 5.
No.
Real honest reviews with us is what we're about. And I think I've had conversations with directors after we've given reviews, and often they agree, and it's part of our work that we say, some things don't land when it gets to a theatre, and it's okay, not everything has to be perfect.
Yes.
But what we must do is support, because actually I've learned over my career that actually sometimes when you don't like something is when you learn what you do like. So you must have both sides of it. So we love the reviews, and we know you do as well. We get a lot of feedback from our reviews as well.
Shall we reveal a little secret, though?
Oh, go on then.
So our first review is not really our first review, is it?
Oh, Sam, are we really going to reveal this?
Oh, let's reveal it.
This is real tea.
Yes. So TJ and I, when we decided, right, this is how we're going to do the review straight out of the theatre, we were like, right, what are we going to see? And at that time, Wild Rice had the accidental death of an activist.
Yes.
And now, through your good friend Louise, she said, "Oh, this play has a cult following. It's a really, really well-known play." And we thought, okay, this should be quite fun then. And it's Wild Rice as well, which is, as we both recognise, is quite edgy and has a little bit of politics and aspect to it. So we were ready and raring to go to review this.
I'm very excited because it was the first time we were podding a review.
Yes, you could not wait to test those microphones.
We got our new microphones. Yes. We were super excited, and
what happened?
Well, it wasn't our cup of tea. Oh, it really wasn't our cup of tea. Yes, it wasn't our favourite, and we watched the whole show, and we went outside, and both of us looked at each other. And we were like...
We can't do it.
Well, we did a review, and we recorded the review, and we just couldn't release it because we didn't like it. we didn't like the show very much for various reasons. And it's not that because we both said that actually we wanted the pod, we were very fair like all of our reviews, but we just couldn't release it as our first one because we didn't want to sound like moaning minis from our very first podcast review. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. That little bit of tea that wasn't actually our first review. So yes, and we've since loved many Wild Rice shows, but that particular show wasn't our favourite.
No.
So we didn't want to start our podcasting journey with that one.
No. God, I still remember it.
Yes. Okay. But interesting information to finish us off on our little facts and statistics. Our average spoonfuls, ladies and gentlemen. So, for Sam's average spoonful is 3.8.
Oh.
Okay, that's like up nearly 4. Kind of, let's round it up to 4. And Sam, what's mine?
Yours, TJ, is a whopping 3.4.
So we're actually not too far different.
No,
we're
not.
Within the same range.
Yes, we are.
I would agree, and maybe sometimes I'm slightly pickier along the way. But the interesting one, if anyone's out there thinking that we maybe, I don't know, maybe a bit negative or however you think, our average spoonful over the last year has actually been 7.3.
Yes.
7.3 out of 10.
That surprised me.
Do you know what? It's not me. Do you know why? Because we've seen some phenomenal theatre over the last year.
We have, yes.
And as much as there's been moments where we might not have liked something, actually, an average of 7.3 really shines a light on how amazing the theatre industry is here in Singapore theatre and how amazing last year's theatre has been. So, fantastic. I think that's wonderful.
So moving on from that, TJ, when we reflect on the past year, all the shows that we've seen, all the news, the good, the bad, all the happenings, what would you say would be, I don't know, the sweetest sugar lump in your tea? Or the sour milk that's been dropped into your tea?
For me, the sweetest sugar lump, and this is exactly why we've done the podcast, and I think we've proven that with our episodes, is seeing the diversity and the talent of Singapore actors, creatives, theatre people. It's not always easy to put on theatre in Singapore. The support, the funding, and even in those circumstances, in 2024, 2025, companies have managed to put on such amazing works. So I think that is really one of the sweetest things. I think some takeaways that have been a bit sour for me that maybe I hope improve the theatre landscape for me. The big one is how people spend their theatre dollars. Because I get this, that in a landscape where we want to get the biggest and the best, and you want to experience things, I think we put international shows in general, and I'm talking here theatre, I'm talking Taylor Swift, I'm talking Coldplay, I'm talking F1, all of these big international ticket items. Of course, everyone's very excited to go see. You know, all the shows at Marina Bay Sands, all of these things. They suck up so much theatre dollar in a time when budgets are tight, prices everywhere are increasing, and it sucks up so much theatre dollar that people don't have much left to go and see local theatre. And my biggest frustration, I don't begrudge any of these things because, gosh, I've had some amazing experiences.
Oh, yes.
Lady Gaga was one of my favourite things I saw all last year.
Oh, yes.
She's phenomenal. But when things come and they charge you a lot of money and you give $200 for a ticket, say, and the quality isn't good, that does two things. One, it zaps people's theatre dollars and they can't then go support amazing local theatre. So they have no money left to go support the local theatre. Or two, if it's not good, for a musical, for example, because I'm obviously very passionate about musicals, I've sat in theatres this year where the musical has honestly been subpar. It's been a big touring production. It's been so subpar with the acting and some of the choices that then I've sat next to people that look completely bored, that look like they don't want to be there. I'm definitely thinking of Sunset Boulevard, of Lord of the Rings, and they look at their partners and gone, why have you brought me to this? And then what that does is it stops people from going to the theatre again to go to a musical because they think they don't like musicals. But what they've actually done is they've spent loads of money to see Sarah Brightman, who shouldn't be playing that role anymore, and they've spent all their money on that, and then they now don't want to go to any musicals again. So it actually hurts the industry if we don't bring in quality productions every time. Now, I also want to very clearly premise that I don't think every international production that's come this year has been bad. It's not. There's been some really fantastic ones.
Oh, I think of Miss Saigon.
Yeah, amazing.
Sensational.
Miss Saigon, Wicked was really good quality as well. You know, Six, really good quality. But if we are going to ask people to spend that much theatre dollar, it has to be a good quality production. And if it's not, I get very angry. It becomes very personal for me.
Yes, yes, we've talked about it. Yes,
that it does stop people going and seeing local arts as well.
The cost of theatre for the consumer. This is something that has been discussed, especially post-COVID. There's been something that's been discussed a lot in theatre world, like the West End and in Broadway as well. Like, theatre needs to be cheaper. Theatre needs to be cheaper. And I agree with you. Let me put it this way for me. I know the category of tickets that I will buy when going to MBS. I know exactly the seats I want because I think they're good. I'm not going to reveal what seats they are, but they're the seats that I want because they're a good view of the stage, but I'm not being overcharged to see a musical that I may or may not like.
Yeah. On the flip side, though, with the cost of theatre, I actually said this, and we had this conversation after COVID, when everybody got the Discovery vouchers to reintroduce them to local attractions and, you know, get people to go out again. I was really upset that they didn't do that for theatre because I thought that was a wonderful opportunity to get people to go to theatrical and arts events if they'd have given everybody $100 to go and do that. And they've done that. The SG Culture Pass for me, and I think that's such an amazing initiative that they brought in, and I really hope it sticks around because I think it is helping theatre companies because it's money that you've got for free. You can go and see a show, and maybe, you know, when you go see a local production that actually inspires you, and you go, wait, actually there is Singapore theatre out there,
yes.
And I didn't have to pay as much for it because I've got my vouchers, but next time I know it's good now, so I don't mind paying for it. I think it's an amazing initiative and I fully support it. So Sammy, what's your sweetness and what's your slightly sour notes of the last year? Sure, you have no sour notes.
I'm gonna start with a sour note, if I am, because I want to end on a high. I want to end on a high. My sour note has been one that I've had for a very, very long time, but because we have seen so much theatre over the past year, it's really getting on my goat, and that is the latecomers that come into theatres, and it's so amplified when you go to MBS because it's such a huge theatre, and you cannot help but notice them because there's about 100 people that are coming in after the first number, I'm going to be as balanced as I possibly can because for me, it gets on my goat because I'm like, you're being disrespectful to the performers that are, you know, are earning their daily bread by just turning up when you want to. However, I think there is a cultural misunderstanding here that I think producers need to really think about when they are putting on plays. And that's that this country goes by food. And what I mean by that is that most people knock off work around 6 o'clock at night. You know, if you go to the UK, it's 9 to 5 or things like that. But here in Singapore, most people knock off at 6 o'clock. What's the first thing they're thinking about? Dinner. And they'll queue up or they'll go to their restaurants or they will go and have dinner and they will enjoy their dinner. Absolute fair play. Singapore is a foodie place. It's a foodie heaven. But if you are going to put on your show at 7:30, and you know Singapore can get very crowded, especially MBS. You know, you go and have dinner at MBS, you are going to queue. We've done it. We've we better get down there soon at like 5 o'clock, 5:30, if we want to have a nice dinner before we go watch a show. And Yeah, so just to give a balance, it really does get on my goat when people do turn up late. But I don't think it's entirely their fault, because they're putting on the shows perhaps a little too early without thinking about the wider society of what they do when they knock off work. But then the flip side of that is, well, people want to get home, and they don't want to get home too late, and they they may need to go all the way to Woodlands or that kind of thing. So it's probably not a problem easily solved, but it does annoy me.
Oh, you know what, Sam? That's brought up. I would love to have a whole episode on theatre etiquette, and also kind of why, because this is too long for this podcast, but I've got a few reasons from being on the producing side of things why 7:30 often is chosen. I won't get into it now because I think it's going to be far too long. But if you are interested in that sort of episode, our dear listeners, do drop us a message, because I think it would be very interesting.
But on the high note, one thing that I have really enjoyed is the variety. We have seen blockbuster musicals, but we've also seen Shakespeare. We've seen some of the lesser known plays, the classics, that sort of thing. And I think of the Winter Players, for example, when they did Hedda Gabler. Now, for me, being a literature teacher, I was actually teaching Hedda Gabler a few months before they put it on. And I thought, oh my God, because as a literature teacher, I'm like, plays need to be watched. They can't just be, it's the same with Shakespeare. It can't just be read. It needs to be watched to really immerse yourself and understand it, the nuance of it. And I said to my students, oh, there's a chance to see Hedda Gabler. But by that time, they had completely checked out. They were like, I just want to get my exams out the way. I want to be free of school. I want to embrace my independence by going to university or college, which is a pity that we didn't get to see it together. But I really have loved the variety of things that we've seen. And as you said before, it's kind of made us realize what we like and what we probably will like less. In terms of genre, in terms of music, orchestration, staging, all the things. It's given us a chance to really get to know ourselves as theatre lovers. So yeah, that's my sour milk and my sugar lump for 24-25.
Okay, so after all this reflection, Sammy, shall we have a think about what's in store for our year 2 of ASOT?
Well, something that you and I have talked about a lot is that since we have become podders, we have been listening to podcasts more as well. Something that you and I both listen to is electoral dysfunction. That's electoral dysfunction. Or Diary of a CEO, or I listen to trigonometry, or things like that. And all these podcasts have grown in their own way. And a lot of them are doing live shows now. Electoral dysfunction, they even went to Edinburgh Fringe, if I remember rightly. And you and I have talked about the possibility of doing an audience with a live show. What do you think?
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I think it would be so great, maybe in conjunction with a festival or just our own little event. So I think if you are interested in us doing a live event, please let us know. If you even turn up, or if it's just going to be you and me and our mothers zooming in, because I don't think they would fly in for it, but it would be fun.
What about in theatre land? What are you hoping for? I mean, we've got some big shows coming up.
I think this is happening. It's just every year I get more proud of the Singapore theatre scene here. I just want everybody to just step into their own, take risks, and really just highlight the amazing talent that we have here, which we've already done, and it just keep growing. And I just want to try and get to more things, actually, because I think I want to see some of the more fringe things. I want to see some things in other languages. And yeah, so if you know of a show coming up and you want to give us a shout out or tell us it's happening, sometimes we do miss things. So just let us know, and we'll try and make as many as we can, because we know you love hearing from us.
What about interviews, though? Who would you love to interview?
Do you know what? We've done some amazing actors and some creatives this year, but I really want to go behind the scenes. I want to lift the lid on theatre and kind of expose some of the roles that people normally don't hear about, that you wouldn't get an interview in the Straits Times on, or that you don't necessarily always, see online. Maybe like the stage managers or the costume designers or the costume assistants or the technicians. There's some of the roles that you don't expect. Producing, that's company managing.
Yes.
Like, what does it take behind the scenes? Lift the lid on some of these roles and find out about those people. How did they get into the industry? What did they study to work in theatre?
Yes.
Because I think even some people listening might feel like, I love theatre, but I'm not really a theatrical person for the stage, or I'm not a creative, but I would love to work in the theatre. So what does it take to do those roles, to be in a theatrical setting? And I've got a bit of a big dream. I would love to start getting some interviews with NAC or even a minister, if I'm dreaming big.
The government.
That might not be year 2, but as I reflect on one of my favorite things of the year, the SG Culture Pass for me is a really amazing thing, and we should be celebrating that. So how do we celebrate this amazing theatre? So I would love interviews like that as well. So let's see if anyone has a contact or wants to share a minister or podcast. Hopefully we won't get deported. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. And a big dream. Wicked Part 2's coming up. I've heard rumours that Ariana and Cynthia might be in town.
They're not.
It's only rumours. But if they are, I would love them in our podcast studio. Ariana and Cynthia, if you are listening and would like to come on our little pod, we would love to have you.
I would so hold space for that. I really would.
We'd be holding our pinkies too.
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh, I'd love that. Oh, Sam, I do have one more hope. One thing I've realised this year is the current generation of TikTokers and such like. I'm probably also guilty of this. I don't watch TikTok, but the attention span. We love doing our long podcasts because they are interesting, and we get to spend longer talking to people than most theatre interviews get to do. But we do know that some of you do struggle with an hour. And I can say this at this point because we've been going probably almost an hour, and those people probably aren't listening at this point. So thank you to those of you that are still listening at this point. But I would love people to embrace the in-depth interviews that we do, because honestly, those have been some of my favorite moments this year. I think back to Eugen, for example, who was one of my favorite interviews this year, and you must go back and listen to his story because it's absolutely inspirational. He had a regular 9-to-5 office job in Singapore, and he gave it all up and is now playing the engineer in Europe. He's a Singaporean playing the engineer in Europe, and nobody really knows about it. And you need to go listen to his inspiring story. So if I can ask you anything, if you are listening at this point, tell one of your friends to give one of our longer episodes a go, because I promise you they are going to learn so much. And you know this already if you're still listening.
As Eugen said in the episode, I would like to be like Eugen when I grow up. It was just wonderful. For me, Rebecca, yes. I am still dreaming of that interview because she was so empowering. She was so empowering in how in the process and changing mindset in how we approach things, and I really loved that episode. So yes, the long forms, they have their place. They really do, especially if you are somebody that is either working in this space, or wanting to work in this space, or wanting to progress in this space. Those long forms will hopefully give you some inspiration, I hope.
Where do you pod, Sam?
I pod on the way to work. I start the pod in the shower, and because I do listen to the long forms, that will take me all the way into work. So on the walk to the MRT, on the MRT. So that's where I pod. Where do you pod, dear?
I used to be on the way to work, but now my way to work is 10 minutes walk. So I can't. It takes me like a week to get through an hour's podcast, unfortunately. No, I love it on public transport. I do also listen to it around the house now, as if I'm just doing my housework or getting ready, that sort of thing. I think it's just something nice to have on in the background.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I do love it. It's one of my favorite ways to unwind, and you learn something along the way. And
You do.
I feel like you get drawn into your favorite podcasts with your hosts, and hopefully some of our dear listeners do that too.
Well then, TJ, we have not done this for a while, but I think it's now time for our hot sips.
Yes, so we want to tell you all of the hottest shows coming up in the next few months in October and November 2025. So, first up, Sam.
Starting off with Wild Rice Serangoon Gardens, the latest play from acclaimed local writer Joel Tan that explores teenage rebellion in 1990s Singapore, playing from the 17th of October to the 1st of November at the Nian Kongsi at Wild Rice Theatre, Funan, and tickets available on Systic.
Now, there's an amazing couple of weeks coming up there, because around the same time, from the 17th of October to the 2nd of November, you can also catch Kimberly Akimbo by Pandemonium. That is a musical, a Tony Award-winning musical that makes you feel everything as it takes the experience of adolescence to a whole new level. That's on at Victoria Theatre, and you can get tickets on Pandemonium's website or book my show.
And then going on to Sightlines now with Dreamcatcher. Now this one's a bit of immersive theatre that encourages audience to invade the subconscious and prevent disaster. Playing from the 3rd of October to the 25th of October at the Goodman Arts Centre. Tickets available on Systic.
Now, next we have a very interesting collaboration with some overseas theatre companies. SRT have linked up with companies from Australia to produce Congratulations, Get Rich. It promises to be a wild and hilarious ghost story celebrating the chaos of life, based in Singapore. From the 29th of October at the Drama Centre Theatre, tickets are on Systic.
And finally, from Teatra, Ekamatra and Esplanade, Yusof Portrait of a President, bringing to life the defining moments of Singapore's first president from his humble beginnings to the nation's birth. Playing from the 17th of October to the 24th of October at the Singtel Waterfront Theatre at Esplanade. Tickets available on Systic.
Wow, what a few weeks of theatre coming up. We are going to be busy giving you all of the spill the tea of as many of those shows as we can get to. And like we say, if you do have any more suggestions, drop them our way and we will try and see as many as we can.
Absolutely. Now then, my tea's gone cold, love. Shall we leave it there?
I think we should. But before we leave it, I just want to thank every single person, all the listeners, all the guests, all the collaborators that we've had over the last year. It really has been an amazing journey. And most of all, Sam, I want to thank you.
Oh, stop it,
No, honestly, like I love doing this. We get to spend time together. We're besties. As much as sometimes we do throw shade at each other, it's an amazing time that we get to not only spend time together, but also watch all the amazing theatre.
No, I absolutely agree, love. And thank you to you, because we don't always agree, but we always share our opinions with love and respect, and just have a wonderful time either in this studio, in the theatre, in the foyer, on the street with terrible background noise from lorries and buses and all the rest of it. But it's a lot of fun.
It is.
And long may it continue.
And thank you for being there on the ride. And do remember to follow, subscribe, share, rate us wherever you are listening to this podcast, and tell a friend about it to come and join us on this ride. And let's grow this little podcast of ours. So thank you all so much.
So it's cheerio from us. We'll be back soon.
And a ta-ra from me.
And to anyone working in Singapore Theatre for the next month,
break a leg.
There's a particular podcast that you and I listened to back in the UK called Electoral Dysfunction. That's Electoral Dysfunction. And they've really grown as well. And they...
Ooh, I bet they have.
Now stop it. Now
okay, shall we start that one again? That could be a blooper.